Welcome to the Paper Review this morning. This is the after news. Beginning with the Sun newspaper. There's so much on the Sun newspaper this morning. First, BIAC slaps Cameroon's bilingual status by turning down a campus request on the basis that it is written in English, insisting English is not the authorized language of BIAC. It highlights the reactions from Anglophones across the board. Get to know more on this on page 2 of the Sun newspaper. On COVID-19, it says Limbe buries first suspected case of the COVID-19. Also, a collapsed fence killing 2 people in the same city. You can get details on both stories by reading page 3 of the Sun newspaper. The paper also says the FACO SDO city mayor distribute over 2,000 free face masks in Limbe as a means to get the coronavirus out of the city. Read more on this on page 5. Again on COVID-19 actions, the paper talks of University of Buea e-learning format made possible, feasible, and operational on page 8. The Star newspaper this Monday, April, writes about the Cameroon government's subsidy to private communications through its Ministry of Communication adopting stringent measures. Beneficiaries of government subsidy must be professionally upright. Audiovisual media excluded following a new ministerial order. Ministry of Finance, MINAT, Ministry of Employment, National Security, NCC, CNPS, representatives of English and French media organs to sit in a commission. Names of printing and distribution companies to be clearly stated, including evidence that free copies of newspapers are supplied to administrative authorities. Get more details in page 5. The Star newspaper also reports the president of Guinea who orders for the arrest of all Chinese until their citizens return safely. The Cameroon Insider, a bi-weekly newspaper, reports French ambassador at State House. It captions fruitful ties reinforced between the two countries as France attenuates Cameroon's debt and donates assorted quantities of personal protective equipment to government. See details on page of the Insider. The paper also talks on the conditional school resumption on the 1st of June and about 306 persons recovering from COVID-19. It also talks on barrier measures and 13 new testing centers to go operational nationwide. Read further on page 4. The major newspaper. Page 1 and page 2 of the major newspaper this Monday writes President Biya's reappearance in public looking hale and hearty. Referring to his meeting with the French ambassador in the Unity Palace on Thursday, 16 April, the paper talks of the president being away from public view for a month and 5 days, and the long speculations about his whereabouts, with some concluded that he might have died from a serious illness. The paper described how these speculations were wiped out through his appearance on Thursday. The paper also talks of instances of French paternalism, how Macron cut short Biya's hibernation. More on this can be found on the first and second pages of the major newspaper. The Herald Tribune. According to the Herald Tribune, the news tightens on perpetrators of amber atrocities like Dr. Samuel Sako, Chris Ano, Tapang Ivo Tanku, and the Rectator as victims petition the U.S. ambassador. You can get more of that story by reading page 1 of the Herald Tribune. The latest story in the newspaper also talks of amber fighters on killing spree in Bambele and Batibo. You can get details on page 4. The Sun newspaper also captions on this story in page 2 that U.S. ambassador to Cameroon has been implored to hold Ambazonians accountable. The News Watch is also hitting on the story that the end time is near for US-based separatists as time for legal actions approaches. The newspaper also reports Amber Boys killing a prince in Batibo on page 2. It also talks why Sisiku Ayoktabe and co. not benefiting presidential clemency in page 3. The Post newspaper. On the Post newspaper today, former Prime Minister Yang Philemon bounced back into government office as Grand Chancellor of National Orders after his appointment on Thursday, replacing Peter Mafani Mosonge. Read page 3 to get the insights. The inner pages of the Post newspaper prints battles against coronavirus in Cameroon. Outbreak will be disastrous in Northwest and Southwest. IRC warns. Delayed test results leave patients' relatives in trauma. How security officers are receiving bribes to free violators of government orders. NADA wages war against COVID-19, provides free masks to villages. COVID-19 has transformed bars into confinement centers. 24 health personnel affected. Camp donates to protect journalists covering pandemic. And finally, the Guardian Post reports that Biya forgives Yang and appoints him Grand Chancellor of National Order, and SDF bigwigs negotiating behind Fonde to join Biya's government. Those were our paper review this morning. I am Kingsley Mangula. Until next time, this is the afternoon.